Well, good evening, everyone, and welcome to tonight's City Council meeting. We're certainly pleased to have you here. Today is Monday, November 7th, and we will start tonight's meeting by identifying the City Council members that are here representing our great city.
Council members Rolfing?
Here.
Aguilar?
Here.
Anderson? Brown?
Here.
Intiman?
Here.
Erpenbach?
Here.
Jameson?
Here.
Karski?
Here.
Thank you. We do have 7 members present. That's enough to do the city's business. We always start our meetings with an invocation, and we're very, very pleased tonight to have Dr. Ron Tottingham from Empire Baptist Temple here in Sioux Falls to give that invocation. We would ask you to stand, and then after Dr. Ron is done, remain standing, and then we'll proceed with the Pledge of Allegiance. Dr. Ron?
And I want to, again, before I pray, compliment you for taking your time off and being here. This is the greatest city in the world, and you've got to be the greatest administrators to manage that kind of a city. Our Heavenly Father, thank you tonight again for your blessings. Whatever happens in this city, whatever happens in the election tomorrow, and all the rest of that should be in your hands for the good of this city, for the future generations, until you choose to end it. We pray you'd bless tonight in a special way these administrators of our city. May the hand of the Lord be on them. May they know that. May they be guided by their conscience and by the dictates that you'd give us tonight in this place. And we'll thank you for it. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Well, before we start with the consent agenda, we did want to recognize some very, very special guests here. And yes, it is our future generations that are here tonight. I had the pleasure of interacting with the Cub Scout Pack 162, the Hilltop Methodist Church Pack. And they asked me a bevy of questions, one that has not been answered of me yet. And that is, what does it take to be a good citizen? I thought that was just tremendous. Very engaging group of young men, and they are being led by moms and dads in a very, very special way. If I could ask you young men and your leaders to stand up and be recognized, we'd appreciate it. And they are going to stay a while to try to see what goes on here, so we're very pleased to have them here. We will go on with tonight's consent agenda.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes,
I need to
Councilor.
excuse myself, please.
Thank you, Councilor Enderman. We do have tonight's consent agenda. Council, any motions or questions? Yes, Councilor Aguilar.
Move approval, Aguilar.
Second, Rolfing.
Councilor Aguilar has made a motion to approve tonight's consent agenda, seconded by Councilor Rolfing. Is there any discussion? A roll call vote, please.
Council members Rolfing?
Here. Yes.
Aguilar?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Intiman? Erpenbach?
Yes.
Jameson?
Yes.
Karski?
Yes.
That is passed 6-0. Moving on to tonight's regular agenda. Council, any changes or comments to that?
Move approval, Erpenbach.
Second, Jameson.
Councilor Erpenbach's made a motion to approve tonight's regular agenda, seconded by Councilor Entman. Any changes or motions? Yes, Councilor Erpenbach.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to amend the main motion and the regular agenda by withdrawing item 19.
Second, Aguilar.
Very good. There has been a motion to withdraw item number 19, seconded by Councilor Aguilar. Is there any comments on that? Very good. For this to pass, we will need 6 yes to make that happen. A roll call vote, please.
Council members Rolfing?
Yes.
Aguilar?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Intiman?
Yes.
Erpenbach?
Yes.
Jameson?
Yes.
Karski?
Yes.
That is passed 7-0. Thank you. It's great to have all of you here tonight. Not a packed house, but pretty close. We certainly are glad to have you all here. This is a great opportunity for you to engage your council. What we'd ask is that you come forward, speak on any topic that you'd want. as long as it's not on the regular agenda. If it is on the regular agenda, we'd ask you to save that for later on. One last request, just introduce yourself to the people of Sioux Falls and keep your comments to 5 minutes or less. Tonight we're going to try something a little different. We are actually going to put a prompter up there for all of you to see so that you'll know when you're at 4 minutes, 3 minutes, 2 minutes, or 30 seconds, and then we will stop you when your time is done. But again, welcome. Good to have you here.
Good evening. I'm Bob O'Connell with the Sioux Falls Area Chamber of Commerce. Thank you, Mr. Mayor and council members, for letting me speak tonight about the Event Center vote tomorrow. First, I had the opportunity Saturday to see White Christmas at the Washington Pavilion. The production was spectacular. What a wonderful venue. I would stack it up against any Broadway play. As voters tomorrow, we have an opportunity to provide the city with another first-class venue in the Event Center. Secondly, because I was chair of the Volunteers of America last year, I had a chance to be in on the negotiations with the Volunteers of America annual national meeting to be held in Sioux Falls. The first question the president of the VOA, National VOA asked was, how large is your meeting space? That is, can we all meet together at one time? We got rave reviews from our meeting here in Sioux Falls, but we need to improve our facilities. We made it work with what we had, but in order to get them back again, we're going to need a better venue and a better facility. At its July 27, 2011 meeting, the Chamber of Commerce Board of Directors unanimously supported the Event Center as reflected in the vote tomorrow. The Chamber's Issues Management Council and Tax Council examined the financing process and the impact that the proposed Event Center would have on the future capital improvements projects. The committees each consist of 20 or so volunteer business leaders who provide their expertise in business and tax to the Chamber Board. Following several presentations and questions and discussions, the Chamber's Issues Management Council and Tax Council each gave their support to the Event Center project that's going to be voted on tomorrow, and I recommended it to the Chamber Board. The full board in its July 27th meeting received additional financing briefing from City Finance Director Turbeck and then unanimously voted their support. The board was convinced that the Event Center plan being voted upon November 8th tomorrow is sound and encouraged the Chamber's 2,200 members and their employees to support the plan by voting yes tomorrow. The board encouraged members to help inform the public about the significant economic development and job creation advantages of the project. More information about the deliberations can be found on our Chamber's website. Tonight we have a number of speakers who will offer their positive outlook on the Event Center project, from the financing plan to the economic development and jobs to the quality of life to the impact on the local businesses to young professionals to the retail trades and much, much more. We ask that the voters of Sioux Falls vote yes tomorrow. For my part, let me review the demographics. Change is inevitable. Nature teaches us that everything in the world is constantly changing, either for the better or the worse. Our city has changed dramatically in the last 50 years since the early 60s when the arena was built. At that time, there were 65,000 citizens. In 1997, when the Convention Center was built, there were 116,000. In 2000, 124,000. And now the city has grown to more than 153,000. That is over 29,000 in just the last 10 years. It is expected the city will grow to about 210,000 by 2025. Really, that's not too long a time from now. The metro area will be about 320,000. The Sioux Falls retail draw area, over 60 miles in radius, is over 500,000. The Event Center is more than a Sioux Falls phenomenon. It impacts our whole area and our state. The arena was built for another time and another era. Times have changed. The city needs a venue to meet its present day and future demands for our city, area, and state. Now is the time. The present interest rates are at historic lows. Builders are providing extremely competitive bids. Vote yes tomorrow. It's a vote for positive change for our future. Thank you.
Mr. O'Connell, thank you. Welcome.
Thank you. I'm Mike Sullivan, Executive Director of the Sioux Falls Sports Authority, and I'm here to speak to you tonight on the positive aspects of a new event center. I think most of you have heard me probably several times. Everybody in the room has probably heard me several times speak of the positive things and the things we can go after and the things we can get as a result of a new event center. I would love the opportunity to go to face those people that have already told me no, and then them turn around and say, yes, we'll come to Sioux Falls. I think we can get that done. But we all know that without a new event center, without the more space that we need, without the expanded floor space that we need, without the revenue-producing opportunities that a new event center would produce, we're not going to get those things. In the sports and entertainment industry, if you're standing still, you're moving backwards, because everyone else is certainly going after those events that we think we could have. And I wanted to speak a little bit from the heart now. 50-some years ago, Sioux Falls faced a vote just like this one, and they were going to go, are we going to build a new arena? I think they were in the old Coliseum down on Main Street, and I only know that because my dad played basketball there when I was 3 years old, so that's how I remember that. But we have enjoyed the fruits of that new arena for the last 50-some years, longer than those buildings are supposed to last. And it's time for us to step forward and now do what we can do for Sioux Falls for the next 40 or 50 years. It's easy to say no. You just don't have to involve yourself and just stay away from it. But to do what's good for this community, you need to get out, you need to vote, and you need to vote yes for the economic development of this community. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Sullivan. Welcome.
I'm Mary Glunsky from 632 West 9th Street, and I think it's exciting that something that we've talked about and studied for over a dozen years could actually happen if the majority of Sioux Falls voters vote yes tomorrow in the event center election. Those who say it isn't the right time or we need to wait and save for a down payment fail to recognize that there's really no better time than right now when interest rates are low. Every 1% increase in interest rates would cost an additional $20 million, and we just don't want to wait for that to happen. It's true the mayor did hope to save dollars for a down payment, but when some city projects were completed at a lower cost than the original estimates, which is a good thing about this time, the city council did vote to spend those dollars on some needed additional projects instead. Similarly, using private dollars from naming rights and so on for the cost of operations, for the day-to-day ongoing job of running the buildings, instead of helping to pay for construction costs, means that those facilities, the arena, the convention center, and the new event center, could operate without a large subsidy of city dollars each year. It would be great to have a new event center to add to what our city already has to offer to visitors, conventions, and those companies that bring well-paying jobs to our community. I'm sure my own children and grandchildren would appreciate having such job opportunities right here in Sioux Falls.
Thank you, Mary. Welcome.
Good evening. My name is Doug Berkland. I'm an engineer with Sayer Associates, a consulting engineering firm here in town. Speaking of playing basketball at the old Coliseum, I played there myself, so that says a little bit about how old I am, but what a treat it was not only go from the Coliseum to go to the new arena, and it's going to be the same treat for people that are now at the age that I was back then to hopefully play at the new facility as well. But I'd like to speak a little bit about the impact this is going to have on people of my business, that being the professionals, design professionals, the architects, the engineers, and also the contractors that have businesses here in town and in the area, and the employees they hire. Not only is this, we've got a potential to hire approximately 1,000 construction workers for this one particular project, but and then also that would provide 184 permanent jobs with the construction of that, but also the spin-off from this. It will prove to the rest of the area, to the state, to the region, to the country, that Sioux Falls is in fact still progressive, it's still on the move, It's still interested in what's going on. It wants to move ahead. It's not going to be willing to sit behind and rest on its laurels. That we are in fact ready to move ahead with this new construction and to show the world. I guess show the world. Yes, we're the old facility served us well, but now it's time for a new one. So thank you much.
Ms. Brooklyn, thank you. Welcome.
Mr. Mayor, members of the council, thank you so much for this opportunity. My name is Bob Trader. I work for Hy-Vee Food Stores at the Empire Mall, manage that store, and wanted to put a retail perspective on the opportunity to vote yes and build an event center in Sioux Falls tomorrow. Not only are from a retailer's perspective, not only are the dollars spent at a facility like the event center important, but also the fact that those dollars turn over in our community 5 to 7 times before they leave. Myself personally hoping that they get to the grocery store at some point, because a lot of those people aren't coming to Sioux Falls to go to the grocery store during an event, but they do help turn those dollars over and create opportunities for all retailers. All the jobs that the event center would create are important. We have the opportunity to employ many part-time employees at Hy-Vee, and I can tell you that for many of those people, that is their disposable income that they get to enjoy life with, is that whether it's a second job as a part-time job or a student that's employed as a part-time employee. For those who doubt the impact of a facility such as a new event center, I happened to stumble across 2 different articles in the last couple of weeks that, although on a different scale, I think point out the impact that those events can have. When the St. Louis Cardinals made the World Series, the playoffs in the World Series, the city of St. Louis generated an extra $2 million in tax revenue to avoid furloughing over 1,000 city employees, and those dollars continue to churn in their community. Ask any retailer in an NBA city if missing NBA games is important to them, and I'll guarantee you the answer is yes. So again, although on a different scale, I think the events that the event center would host would have the same effect on our community. And one last comment, I think unlike those cities who have it and are now missing those events and understand the impact that they have, I don't believe our community understands or will understand until we have those events what we have been missing. So I'd like to take the opportunity to urge all the citizens of Sioux Falls to go out and vote yes in support of the event center tomorrow. Thank you very much.
Bob, thank you. Welcome.
I'm Paul Bruflat, a longtime Sioux Falls resident. I'm voting yes tomorrow for a new event center. While I support the new event center for a number of reasons, I'd like to take just a moment to focus on one in particular, the importance quality of life plays for Sioux Falls businesses. I'm the local leader of a large employer in Sioux Falls, and I can tell you that as a company, we value the quality of life investments in town because it benefits both our employees and their families. My company and our employees have a proud record of community support because we care about Sioux Falls. We also know quality of life opportunities are important to recruiting and retaining a high quality workforce, which is essential for our business and many other businesses as well. We have the opportunity to improve the quality of life in Sioux Falls. I encourage all to cast a thoughtful vote tomorrow. Now, I'd like to close with just a couple of personal side notes. First, a few years ago, I had the privilege of hosting our corporate board of directors here in Sioux Falls for one of their quarterly board meetings. Now, you might imagine the skepticism of many of these people coming to Sioux Falls. They're extremely successful business people from places like New York, Chicago, Denver, Kansas City. But after hosting them a dinner and a tour of our wonderful Washington Pavilion, they all remarked that they're surprised at the quality of life here in Sioux Falls. Now, I know they left here with their eyes open for the city's potential for future investment, and to this day they comment fondly on their hope to visit here again. Second, I'm a new grandfather. However, my new granddaughter lives 350 miles away, and I can't help but wonder if my daughter would have chosen to stay in Sioux Falls if we had a more robust quality of life. So in closing, I'm going to do all I can to keep the momentum going and cast a yes vote tomorrow. Thank you.
Thank you, Paul. Welcome.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, City Council members. My name is Nate Welch. I'm a citizen in Sioux Falls on the southwest side. How excited are you to see yet another person walking up tonight? And another person. I can imagine that you probably want to move on to other business for the city on the agenda tonight. Maybe it is time that we move on. I'm here tonight to just talk for a couple minutes on why I believe that this is a good time for us to move on and move forward. As the chairman of the Chamber's Young Professional Network, I've been lucky enough to have great conversations with many other young professionals. Now, not everyone may agree all the time, but we all have a love for this city and the people in it. I mean, come on, why else would we be putting up with the winters? But I have to say, one repeating message seems to be how excited we are that our city is on the verge of investing in our growth, development, and financial future. There are added benefits to an event center. It brings concerts and entertainment, but that isn't why or what it's all about for us. We have started careers, businesses, and families. In fact, tomorrow, right after we go vote, we go to find out if we have a boy or girl. Our families continue to grow, and so does our city. We have invested in our city's growth and opportunities. We would like our city to do so as well. The great thing about young professionals is that we do have most of our lives ahead of us. We have no choice but to view the long-term effects of our decisions because, well, frankly, we are the ones that are going to be living with those decisions. We need to keep doing things in our community that encourage it to thrive, drive economic development, and most of all, inspire our generation to make every opportunity that our great city has count. We have an opportunity here to do just that with an event center by voting yes tomorrow. So after tomorrow, hopefully we can vote yes and move on and move forward. And finally, when we as a generation ask you to invest into our community, what we're really asking you to invest in is us. This is our community, and our community is our future. Thank you for your time, and thank you all for serving.
Thank you, Nate. Welcome.
Mayor, Council, I'm Slater Barr. I'm president of the Sioux Falls Development Foundation. I know that you're all very familiar with the findings of the AECOM's report on the economic impact of the Event Center, but let me just relay a few of those. 60% of the spending will come from outside of Sioux Falls, $36 million in new economic impact per year, 39,500 room nights per year. And Doug Birkeland mentioned the impact on the direct job creation and indirect job creation. But I want to dwell on the Event Center's role on where we are going as a community. How does it fit into our efforts to add jobs which require higher skills and commensurately higher wages? Well, many of you know that we undertook a rigorous planning process called Future Sioux Falls to create strategies to attract some high-value targeted industries to Sioux Falls. Followed by a very successful Forward Sioux Falls campaign, we now have the resources to carry out those plans, and our work has already started. But our success in attracting these industries, frankly, is predicated upon their confidence that our city has the amenities and quality of life that will be attractive to the highly skilled, highly educated talent that they require. That's why I believe that the Event Center is important. Lest you disagree, a 2008 study by the Federal Reserve Bank stated that the third most important predictor of population and employment growth is the number of leisure visits to a community. Our economic development marketing consultants, Development Counselors International, have told us the same thing, that people are much more prone to accept jobs in cities that they have visited due to leisure travel, and that increasing leisure visits is an important part of our efforts at talent attraction. So the true impact of the Event Center goes far beyond the current impact touted by the AECOM study. Let's not only keep Sioux Falls growing, but let's keep our economy growing as well. For these reasons and the others that have been stated tonight, the Sioux Falls Development Foundation supports the Event Center and encourages the citizens of Sioux Falls to vote yes.
Thank you, Slater. Dr. Welcome.
Mayor, Council, I'm Dr. Pat O'Brien. I'm president of Sanford Medical Center. It's a privilege to be here before you. 33 years ago, I came to this city and made it my home then. And I found out it's not a city of 150,000 people. I took care of people that came from an area of 1 million. And for my specialty, they came from several states. And when they came, they weren't just coming to see me, they were coming to shop, they were coming to visit. And I've known for 30 years that this is a center of a very large region. And for that reason, I support the Event Center. Personally, we support it as Sanford because we have conversations, and I have had conversations for many, many years with professionals who come here seeking work, doctors, researchers. We hire 50 physicians a year, and we have for several years, and now 20 or 30 researchers a year. And those people ask the same questions about what Sioux Falls is like. I think the Event Center makes that a better story. I think the Event Center is really essential to that story. And so for that reason, and for the reason of the economics that's been explained, we are for it. We just did a heart hospital, which took 2 years to build. It was during a bad portion of the economy, but it kept 400 people working for 2 years. And the bonding and the interest rate and the price of steel and the price of all of the subs was just great. They're happy, we're happy. This was the time to build it. The Event Center really fits in that same pattern for us. So thank you for listening. Appreciate it.
Dr. Bryan, thank you. Welcome, Doctor.
Good evening, Mayor and council members. I appreciate the opportunity. I'm Dr. Dave Kapaska from Avera McKinnon. I'm the president of Avera McKinnon, and it's probably interesting to see Dr. Pat O'Brien and I come up in order. He drew the long straw, so he got to come first. But geez, and we're colleagues and friends over many years, and we feel, despite the fact that we compete on a daily basis, that it's imperative for us to come together as citizens to support the Event Center for the city of Sioux Falls and for the growth that it brings to us. We also recruit somewhere between 40 and 80 physicians and scientists a year. These are world-class people from all over the world, and when they come here, they expect to see world-class place to live. And my favorite thing is to take people to the pavilion. Honestly, typically spouses are saying, well, where is this place and what is it? And we walk into the pavilion and all the questions about culture are done and instantaneously. When we go to our parks and we go to our schools, the answers are quickly quelled that is this a great place for our kids? And I think the Event Center is just another cog in that wheel that says we need to be at the top of our game in every aspect that we have here to attract folks from the many cities around the country that also need them. As Dr. Pat said, 3 years ago at Avera McKinnon, we had a very large hole in the ground with the piles of steel next door, and to the tune of about $93 million plan. And as the economy, I think we were 2 months in when the economy went south extraordinarily. And it was a bit scary, to say the least. But on the front side, things are a bit scary. But when you get to the end and you see what the product of the efforts are, the product of 700 people's jobs during that time, the product of investing $93 million, much of that was spent right here in Sioux Falls, and the extraordinary care that comes from that at the end, we're all better because of that investment. And I think that's an important one to remember. This really is a test of courage for Sioux Falls and for our citizens. We've talked a lot about what it costs to build this event center. $115 million, capped at that. If you add interest in, $184 million, I believe, plus or minus a couple million. And that's what we say it costs. But what does it cost not to build the event center? We've talked about the economic impact being $36 million a year. If we wait for another 10 years, like we've done up to this point, that's $360 million that would have been invested in Sioux Falls, money that come into our economy that will not. We've talked about the fact that $6 million per year increase in cost of building a facility if we wait. Over 10 years, that's $60 million additionally. put those two together with the fact that nearly 1,000 jobs in the construction business at a time where we can use extra jobs, and 184 jobs ongoing, that's $420 million and nearly 1,200 jobs that we're talking about here. That's real impact on our city, and I think it's one that we have to look at, just like we looked at it at Avera-McKinnon several years ago when I would have been glad to fill up that hole and send the steel back. It wasn't the thing to do, it wasn't possible, and the results say we did the right thing. I found a quote from Mayor Bloomberg from New York, who was talking about a similar project in New York City. And I just substituted Sioux Falls where he said New York, and I think it speaks to me. He said, "The future of Sioux Falls lies in our willingness to be true to our past, always forward-looking, always bold, always innovative. And I firmly believe that if we embrace that history, the future of Sioux Falls will be brighter than ever." Thank you for your time, and please vote yes for the Events Center tomorrow.
Dr. Dave, thank you. Welcome.
I'm Ben Sharon with the Skills USA chapter from Southeast Tech. Skills USA to us is an organization that teaches secondary and post-secondary students to become leaders in the workforce, schools, and their communities. We focus on the American way of life and helping others. What we are trying to do is we're trying to give back to our communities in many ways. In past events, we've contributed to Make-A-Wish Foundation, Disabled Veterans, Holiday House, and also sponsored a highway adoption along Highway 11 in Brandon, South Dakota. The Southeast Tech chapter is trying to raise money to give back to our community. We are planning to do a car show April 24th. All the proceeds from the car show will go into community projects for the upcoming year. Part will also contribute to the sending the school's contestants to the national contest. Our fundraising money will consist of many events. The start will be with the money from the entry fee. At this time, we do not know what that will be. We will also have an entry fee for people who enter their vehicles into the car show. We also have a few tool donators that will decide to donate tools for raffle tickets. We have received a card that will be raffled for engine blow-up times and for a car smash. We plan to hire out a vendor to do all food cooking and selling. Vendor food will not be considered into the fundraising unless the vendor plans to make a proceed donation. There will also be donation boxes for individual groups for people to donate money to Make-A-Wish Foundation, Disabled Veterans, and etc. We are just looking for support from the City Council to do this. So,
Ben, thank you. Good luck to you.
thank you.
Thank you. Welcome.
Thank you, Mayor. I don't know how often people come before you and apologize, but that's what I want to start off with.
Could you just relay
Yeah,
your
Andy
name?
Traub.
Thank you.
So everyone knows who's apologizing. This is not a surprise to anyone that at times conversations go beyond numbers and beyond political parties, and it gets personal. And I think that's happened in some ways. And I've been a part of that. And if I have been too personal, I apologize. You know, people get angry when they get hurt. That's where anger usually comes from. And the times when I've been hurt in this conversation is when I feel like the country and the city and really the region we live in is not being lived out, not being lived up to. And no offense to the New York reference, but we're not New York. I think we're a little more gentle than that. I feel like there's times when we make reference to each other instead of the facts, and we have said that those who are really passionate one way or another don't care about our city or have ill will against our city. And I don't believe that anyone in this room has ill will against our city. I think we have a different vision. And I believe and I hope that after this, whether it's a yes or no, that we can have some healing time and that we can work together and say, boy, we had quite the time there, didn't we? And I hope sincerely that we can regain some of the lost ground and have more civil discussion. And again, I wanted to start with an apology because I think that I've been a part of a less than civil discussion at times. And I hope that if apologies have to happen behind closed doors, that they would happen. So you don't have to get up to the mic. But I also want to call, and I do not want to make this political. I want to call for some accountability. And one of the things, Councilor Intiman, when you were called the question on a conflict of interest or whatever, this board came and they made a decision, and it's over. They made a decision. And something that was troubling to me is when a decision recently came to that board and there was no decision made. And the thing that troubled me was not that, well, the thing that troubled me is they didn't make a decision, and I feel like that leaves things up in the air. And when we worry about conflicts of interest, the people of our city we want the air clear. We want to know that someone neutral has made a decision. I'm on the redistricting committee, and they divide us by Republicans and Democrats, and we have to make a decision, an answer to that. And I would just hope that whatever power the city council might have, that we would just encourage decisions when things are brought to question, because when we don't, people are just left to gossip and worry, and that's not conducive to our city. I'm not going to tell you how to vote. I'm not going to tell you I hope you vote one way or another. That's your individual right as a taxpayer and citizen of the city. I'm just going to encourage all of us, and starting with myself, to maintain our civility and rely on facts. And no matter which way the vote goes, that we would look at each other and say, we live in a great city. Let's continue to work to make it better. Thanks for your time.
Welcome.
For the record, Mayor and Council, George Hahn, Sioux Falls, lifelong and third-generation resident. I've got some pretty good knowledge about the entertainment history of Sioux Falls dating back well over 100 years, and many of the greatest of the greats have played Sioux Falls. Sinatra in '49, Count Basie in 1970, pianist Paderewski in 1939, who wouldn't play at the Coliseum until the train quit tooting its whistle. Maynard Ferguson at 73, Gershwin in 35, shortly before he died. World-class violinist Yehudi Menuhin in 1960. The Minneapolis Symphony Orchestra, once again one of the greatest in the world. The Moscow Chamber Orchestra, without question the greatest chamber orchestra in the world. Lawrence Welk and the Six Fat Dutchmen did their thing too, probably too many times. But we did have Elvis both in 76 and 77, not that long before he died. Holiday on Ice at the Arena in the 60s. The Ringling Brothers Circus. David Copperfield, circa 91. Wynton Marsalis played Sioux Falls, the greatest horn player alive today. Pianist Emanuel Axe, George Boulette, among many others. The Real Group, Chicago, in the early 70s. Duke Ellington, Stan Kenton, Lionel Hampton, Richard Tucker, Nadia Salerno Sonnenberg, among the greatest living violinists. Olga Kern, one of today's great pianists. Peter, Paul, and Mary in 64, 9 Inch Nails in 95. Virtually every Broadway touring company that has ever toured has played Sioux Falls, and many others that I simply can't name, but two that are in recent years worthy of mention are B.B. King and Arturo Sandoval, who played the Pavilion. However, what they did, and they almost have all in common about Sioux Falls, still is and always was, that we were for them a secondary or tertiary market. They seldom ever played Sioux Falls as a first choice, and hardly ever on a Friday and Saturday. Why? First of all, union work rules. All actors, musicians, electricians, roadies, laborers, set carpenters, drivers are union folks. Truckers have limited time behind the wheel. The other unions have strict hours of performance. When railroads were the way to get around this country, Sioux Falls was a stop-off for trains coming or going to Minneapolis or Omaha. Again, union work rules controlled everything. Before the advent of the interstate highway system, our city never was a large venue for anything, neither for sports or entertainment nor trade shows. But Interstates 90 and 29 changed that. The new airport changed a lot. The convention center changed things big time. Citibank changed many things for the better. The expansion of Sanford, Nevada has been a magnificent improvement in our quality of life. The local venues before the arena opened in '61 were the Orpheum, originally a vaudeville theater that opened up in, I think, 1907. The State Theater, which had a great organ and an orchestra pit, and a Coliseum, and Washington High, which also had orchestra pits, and the famous Arcota Ballroom, now the El Riad Shrine. And the Shrine Circus has played the arena for 50 straight years. Classical performances need the pavilion, short on capacity as it is, but they've got accidentally some of the best acoustics in the country. The Orpheum is perfect for the Sioux Falls Blues and Jazz Society, which does great work under the leadership of Dr. Rob Joyce. They have managed to get great performance here on Friday and Saturday nights. Downtown Sioux Falls and the El Riad Shrine Center, we can have 1,000 people packed in there for a dance. We did it a couple of weeks ago. It was a wonderful event. I'm a Shriner myself, and I can tell you that's such a popular place to go. For 2012, there may be one or two Friday or Saturday nights that aren't booked as we speak now. Our circus has played over 40,000 kids a year for many years. The arena always will be our venue. And I'll brag for a minute. My late father, George Arhon, brought the Shrine Circus to Sioux Falls for the first time in 1942. The pavilion, under the leadership of Larry Toll, brought in the fabulous White Christmas Show, which played several dates this month. What a coup! But in part, they came here to open off-Broadway, so to speak, and the pavilion happens to have a stage larger than most Broadway theaters. With a 12,000-seat facility, we can become a first-choice venue for many entertainment opportunities, which we simply now do not have. They could play Friday or Saturday and be assured of lower-priced tickets by selling more of them, higher attendance, a greater gate. We need to compete with cities all over our region and around the country. Right now, we simply cannot compete. There are a couple of our members of the council who want to perhaps consider doing this another way. Won't work. You got to see steel flying before you get money. Once in the history of Sioux Falls has anything ever been built without ever seeing it first. Arrows Data Center. I was the youngest member of the fundraising committee as a college student in 1970. That was promoted the right way. Right now, we are a second fiddle or third fiddle town. We need to grow up into a bigger city, and we need to build it now. Vote yes tomorrow.
Thank you, Mr. Ahn. Welcome, Bob. Folks, if there's anyone else who wants to speak after Bob, please just come on. But thank you. Tim, thank you.
Yes, my name is Bob Sievertson. The proponents of this proposal make a persuasive argument. It's a good progressive idea. I've been a long battler for a more progressive tax system in this city, in this state. It's a losing battle, but I'm going to lend my voice to it as long as I can. When you analyze the way they pay for this event center, it's paid for by the the penny sales, the second penny sales tax. That is, that when you buy food, you're paying for the event center. When you buy a household appliance, you're paying for the event center. There must be a better way of people that use this facility and profit by it pay some of the rent. I'm not sure that the profit, a big effort was paid in requesting the proponents of this proposal to use their energy to find a fair way to pay for it. People might say they're the dominant force in this city, and I believe that. As evidence of that, I view the advertisements, the many thousands of dollars that was spent quickly to promote this. I would just suggest to you that their money, efforts could be better spent if they paid for some brick and mortar for the building. And I would cheerfully vote for it. As of now, my vote is no. Thank you.
Mr. Stevenson, thank you very much.
Tim Stanga. I don't even know where to start at anymore. You know, when I sat in your office, Mayor, and we talked, you asked me who I work for. I think I proved to you who I work for. I work for the people outside this building. Being able to talk for them, being able to stress their opinion on what is going on in this town. I also told you who runs this town. And I think people are starting to figure out who runs this town. It isn't the city council, it isn't the mayor's office, and it isn't the people outside this door. It's the people behind me that run this town. People see it, they realize it, and they want to change. I'm glad that Jameson and Brown stepped out. But as soon as they stepped out, they got criticized. Because it's East Coast politics or West Coast politics, or, well, to me, a lot of people out there think that you guys took a lot of courage to step out and finally state that how this is being funded. If you really look at how Omaha was built, there was $75 million put down on that project before it was started. Sioux City, 40% was state funded, 20% was from just contributions, and the rest was from whatever, you know, how they had to pay the rest of the loan out. You know, they say that we're going to create 200 jobs. You can't even say if it's going to be full-time, part-time. You can't even say if it's going to be minimum wage. Because what we're doing is we keep pulling numbers out of the sky. Because you can pull numbers out of the sky. I just think that a person has to be true to everybody in this town, every citizen in this town. We say we have a piggy bank or a cookie jar that's just overflowing. Then maybe that second penny sales tax should be put back to the people so they can live. I got people that I deal with that can't live from day to day. Don't know how to put food on their table the next day. We have kids that go into high school that live in their cars. What is this? And we're saying that we need this? I grant it, we probably do need it. But I think there's a lot of other people that need help in this town. We have roads that are ridiculous. You have people come into this town and they drive down these roads. It's just terrible. Guy gets frustrated on how we think that the taxpayers have to buy jobs to make somebody else's lifestyle be better. I think you should go talk to people that stand at the fairgrounds and ask them how that lifestyle is going to change again. I'm going to bring up the fairgrounds since you guys haven't went there. Talk to people. I do. I talk to people every day. I just don't get it. We say we're here for everybody in this town. But yet I haven't really seen, I've only seen 2 counselors that have stepped up for everybody in this town. When we want to fire one person when they're going to come out and tell the truth, and then we have somebody come up with an ethics charge, and then all of a sudden that person can't say something, there's a problem in this town. Because the truth has to be brought out. And I am tired of living behind a wall. I'm tired of people having to keep their mouth shut because they're afraid they're going to get yelled at. You know, I in my truck that I used to drive here, I used to put an extra set of tires in the back because I never knew if I was going to get them slashed the next day. That's how sad it is in this town. When you can't even park a vehicle alongside the street because you come up here and you state your opinion. I'll tell you what, I will state my opinion until I'm blue in the face. I will stand up for every person that is struggling in this town. Nobody's going to stand in front of me.
Welcome.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor and Mr. City Attorney and members of the Sioux Falls City Council. My name is Tam Baker, 1713 South Williams Avenue. And I am here tonight to let you know and the Board of Ethics know how very disappointed I am in their lack of action. As a member of the first City Council under the new form of government, along with Ms. Glunsky, we were charged by the charter to create a conflict of interest ordinance and to create a Board of Ethics. I was fortunate enough to sit on both of those committees that worked on that. And Janet Brecky, who was our city attorney at the time, led us through some really excruciating, hard-working sessions developing especially the Board of Ethics, because it's such a powerful board, the most powerful board in the city. What has happened to it? I have 2 copies of revised ordinances. I don't know where the original one is. I didn't dig that out of my archives. But I do thank the Argus leader for stepping forward, particularly Jonathan Ellis, for questioning why the Board of Ethics didn't do their duty. And they said that they threw out the complaint saying it didn't have, the Board of Ethics didn't have the authority to review the matter. And so then previous ethics boards have rendered decisions about similar matters. Why now does this board conclude it doesn't have the authority? And when I heard that decision, I was just astonished and so confused. And I still am very, very confused. The Argus leader did set forth thoughtful editorial on November 3rd saying that the City Ethics Board fails to do its job, and indeed it did. And it was a complaint about the use of public money for the event center, and we never did get an answer. Again, I'm very confused. I'm very frustrated. I hope someday we'll get an answer. I don't know. I know, Mr. Entman, you had occasion to use the Board of Ethics for an opinion. When I sat on the council, I went to the Board of Ethics for an opinion, and, you know, we were welcomed, and they issued an opinion. But now suddenly, they couldn't issue an opinion, and I just can't understand that. And it does. It makes me angry enough to spit tacks or spit nails or whatever, because we're being let down. I'll just close with the final article or the final paragraph of the editorial from the Argus Leader on November 3rd. It's hard to see how this episode of no opinion inspires public confidence on the eve of an important election. I will continue to want answers and hope that the Board of Ethics will behave in a more professional manner in the future. Thank you for your time.
Folks, is there anyone else who'd like to speak to the council or to the people of Sioux Falls? Well, very good. We want to thank you for the input tonight. We certainly appreciate it, and thanks for speaking on behalf of you and your organizations and the people. Make it a great night.
May I have a point of personal privilege for an introduction?
Sure. Councilor Brown?
We have a lot of important people here tonight, but there's one very important person to me here tonight. My godson, Zach, is here. So, Zach, can you give us a wave? And then it's past your bedtime, buddy. Thanks for coming.
Item 18. Item 13, sorry.
Transfer of a 2011-12 retail malt beverage license from C-Store Services, Inc., Pump and Pack, 3700 North Potsdam Avenue, number 300, to OFS Benson Road, LLC, Pump and Pack, to be operated at 3700 North Potsdam Avenue, number 300, including video lottery terminals, with the major amendment 2005-04-09 being approved in 2005. 14, transfer of a 2011-12 packaged malt beverage license from C-Store Services, Inc., Pump and Pack, 3700 North Potsdam Avenue, number 100, to OFS Benson Road, LLC, Pump and Pack, to be operated at 3700 North Potsdam Avenue, number 100. 15, special one-day malt beverage and special one-day wine licenses for Senior Citizen Services, Inc., to be operated at Active Generations, 2300 West 46th Street, for the Gourmet Guys fundraiser on April 22nd, 2012. 16, special one-day wine license for Augustana College, to be operated at the Fantel Building, 2001 South Summit Avenue, for the President's Dinner and Bow Forum on November 9, 2011. 17, amend the special one-day malt beverage and special one-day wine licenses approved on 6/2011 for the Home Builders Association of the Sioux Empire, to be operated at the Home Builders Association of the Sioux Empire, 6904 South Lindcrest Place, for the general membership meeting on November 17, 2011, changing the event date to November 15, 2011.
Thank you. Lori Hogstead with the City Attorney's Office here for items 13 through 17. 13 and 14, as Jamie read, are both transfers, and I do have a representative here from OFS Benson Road, LLC, if you wish to ask questions. And then 15 through 17 are special one-day licenses that I can certainly address.
Council, any questions or comments of Lori? Would anybody like to make a motion?
Move to approve, Brown.
Second, Jamison.
Councilor Brown's made a motion to approve these items, seconded by Councilor Jamison. If there's no further discussion, a roll call vote, please.
Council members Rolfing,
Yes.
Aguilar,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Intamin,
Yes.
Erpenbach,
Yes.
Jameson,
Yes.
Karski.
Yes.
That is passed 7-0. Item 18.
Second reading, an ordinance of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, rezoning property at 216 North Marion Road from the RS2 Residential District to the I1 Light Industrial District. Petition number 2011-0815, and amending the official zoning map of the City of Sioux Falls. Planning Commission recommends approval.
Good evening. I'm Mike Cooper, representing Planning and Building Services. The first item tonight that we have to present is a petition by Gary Murfield of a property that's approximately 1 acre in size. It's located on the east side of Marion Road, north of 9th Street. It's currently zoned residential. It's surrounded by both commercial and industrial zoning as well as development. And the applicant is just requesting this to be rezoned to industrial to accommodate future redevelopment. There is a storage garage building on the property now, but the applicant is anticipating using this property for future industrial redevelopment. And the Planning Commission has recommended approval of the rezoning request.
This is a second reading. Is there anyone in the audience who'd like to speak to this item? Very good. Council, any questions, comments of Mr. Cooper? Motions?
Move to approve the second reading. Intamin.
Second, Brown.
Councilor Edmonds made that motion to approve this, and seconded by Councilor Brown. Is there any further discussion? A roll call vote, please.
Council members Rolfing,
Yes.
Aguilar,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Intamin,
Yes.
Erpenbach,
Yes.
Jameson,
Yes.
Karski.
Yes.
That is passed 7-0. Item number 20.
Second reading, an ordinance of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, a major amendment, petition number 2011-0907. Oh, I'm sorry. That one was been deferred. Did you say 20? Yes, I'm sorry. I started reading 19. My apologies. First reading, an ordinance amending the 2002 revised joint zoning ordinance for Minnehaha County and the City of Sioux Falls by approving the Red Rock Corridor Overlay District.
I'm used to getting static, but this is kind of ridiculous. Yes.
Is it the computer? I did. It's something with that computer. Need to be further? Maybe. There.
Okay, well,
Ms. Cooper, welcome.
we'll try to go forward with this one. This is an item that has been initiated by the Minnehaha County Planning and Zoning Department. It's the proposed Red Rock Corridor Plan and Overlay District. And the city is involved with this because it does include a portion of our joint zoning jurisdiction as well as east side growth area. Over the past year, the County Planning Department has initiated this planning process, initiated as the Red Rock Corridor Study. It consists of the Highway 42 corridor extending from the Sioux Falls city limits east to the basically the Minnehaha County state line. It's a distance of about 6.8 miles in length. And the proximity of the land includes approximately 1/2 mile on either side of Highway 42. The Planning Department initiated this to look at a preferred future redevelopment or land use plan for the area, as well as some innovative land use and zoning standards that would apply to that future development. The County Planning Department initiated the development of a 14-member task force that met monthly during the planning process to look at various options for future land use, and that did include a representative of the Sioux Falls City Planning Office. They also held community meetings back in January and May of this year, and they also had a project website to provide opportunities for more public input and analysis of what was going on through this planning process. The Red Rock Corridor ultimately focused on 4 major intersections, and these are identified as the Highway 42 26th Street intersection, the Iverson's Crossing, which is along 6 Mile Road, the unincorporated area of Rowena, and then the 4th area, which is the farthest east, called the Gateway, which would be nearest to the state line. So each of these 4 areas were evaluated by the task force as well as planning staff to put together not only a future land use plan, but also identifying policies that would guide future redevelopment and growth of this particular corridor. So along with the corridor study, which primarily talks about a preferred future land use plan, there's also a overlay district, which essentially would be a special zoning overlay, similar to what we have within the city of Sioux Falls, along our Greenway, along 49th Street, and other places of unique character. And within that overlay district, there would be specific development standards that would apply to future development and redevelopment along the corridor. The county planning staff has put together a very extensive PowerPoint presentation, and so tonight I'm going to be very brief because I want the county planning staff to maybe spend more time at the second reading and public hearing to give you more of an in-depth overview of the planning process. But it did involve a lot of public input, a lot of interesting, there was a lot of interest to this overlay district, and I think the end result is going to be very progressive for not only the Sioux Falls area, but also for Minnehaha County. And just one final comment that, as I said, it does include the city's joint zoning jurisdiction, which essentially extends right now from the eastern Sioux Falls city limits to the Big Sioux River. So that's the portion that we would eventually work together with Minnehaha County on future land use decisions. So with that, I'll just stop and say that we are asking you to set the second reading and public hearing for the plan approval as well as the overlay district for Monday, November 21st at 5:30 p.m.
Council, any questions? Yes, Councilor Rolfing? Or motion?
No, I'd move that we move it to the 21st of November.
Very good.
Second, Urbanbach.
Councilor Rolfing's made that motion to set the second reading for Monday, November 21st. It was seconded by Councilor Urbanbach. Any discussion, Council? Our roll call vote, please.
Council members Rolfing,
Yes.
Aguilar,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Intamin,
Yes.
Erpenbach,
Yes.
Jameson,
Yes.
Karski.
Yes.
Thank you. That is passed 7-0. Item number 21.
A resolution advising and giving consent to the appointment of members to certain citizens' boards.
Would you mind reading those boards for the people of Sioux Falls, please, and who was nominated?
Sure. Timothy Krennick, Board of Health. Fred Snotterly, Solid Waste Planning Board.
Very good. Council, would anybody like to make a motion to approve that?
Move to approve Entenmann.
Second, Jameson.
Councilor Entenmann's made that motion to approve. It's seconded by Councilor Jameson. If there is no further discussion, a roll call vote, please.
Councilmembers Rolfing,
Yes.
Aguilar,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Intamin,
Yes.
Erpenbach,
Yes.
Jameson,
Yes.
Karski.
Yes.
That is passed 7-0. Item 22.
A resolution including certain contiguous territory within the corporate limits of the city of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, annexation 2011-0901, 26th Street and Katy Avenue, Talsma.
We have a petition to present to you tonight requesting annexation of approximately 12 acres of land. This property is located along West 26th Street, approximately 1/4 mile west of the T. Ellis Road. The land use plan that we've adopted for this growth area shows that it will be developed primarily as residential. It is within our projected growth area and service area for future utilities. And the petitioner is Donald Talsma, representing as a trustee of the Helen Talsma Revocable Living Trust. We have gone through the staff review of this annexation petition, which includes a number of different city departments, and the staff is recommending approval of this request for annexation.
Is there anyone in the audience who'd like to speak to this item?
And just one last comment, this is in the Lennox School District.
Very good. Council, any motions or, yes, Councilor Jameson?
You know, these annexations don't come along very often, and it's just kind of an exciting time. I think we should recognize that it's always good to bring those others into the fold here and welcome them. So it's just wanted to point it out. It doesn't happen very often. And I would make a motion to approve.
Thank you, Councilor Jameson.
Second, Karski.
There's been a motion made and seconded by Councilor Karski. Is there any further discussion? A roll call vote, please.
Councilmembers Rolfing,
Yes.
Aguilar,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Intamin,
Yes.
Erpenbach,
Yes.
Jameson,
Yes.
Karski.
Yes.
That is passed 7-0. Council, any further discussion tonight? Do we have to do 23?
Report of the October 31st, 2011 Notice of Transfers of Appropriations within Major Organizational Units.
Very good.
Yes, Councilor Brown.
Also, I should have done this on the consent agenda, but just for the public tonight, tonight was the first time we approved some contracts on the consent agenda. I want to publicly thank the mayor for signing that and getting it going, and Attorney Fifley for making that process go very smoothly. So thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Brown. Thank you. Any further, would anybody like to make a motion to adjourn tonight's meeting?
Sure. So moved Entenmann.
Second, Aguilar.
Councilor Entenmann's made that motion to adjourn tonight's meeting, seconded by Councilor Aguilar. If there is no further discussion, a roll call vote, please.
Councilmembers Rolfing,
Yes.
Aguilar,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Intamin,
Yes.
Erpenbach,
Yes.
Jameson,
Yes.
Karski.
That is passed 7-0. I'd like to thank the people of Sioux Falls and everybody in attendance for attending tonight. Make it a great, great night. This meeting is adjourned.